Good afternoon. What's happening? Chad here, and today we are going to be discussing what is the biggest lie you have ever been told in your entire life. And it's a big one, and it's a very important one, and it affects your life and affects the lives of others in many, many different ways. So before we get started, if you like the content, please share it with your friends and family. Make a comment in the comment section, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're on the podcast, subscribe to my podcast. And so also you can visit my webpage at prosperwithchad.com. That's PROSPERWH or WITHCHAD, prosper with Chad.com. So, what is that big lie that we have all been told? Because it's really a big one that we've all come to believe that it's just a normal occurrence of our everyday life. And it's something that I've put myself into, it's what others have put themselves into, and we are told that it's just a normal thing. But when we come, but when we realize that it's not actually a normal thing, that it's actually something that enslaves us, then we realize, yeah, it's not exactly normal. It's what the government wants you to do. It's what the banks want you to do. It's what um, all these keeping up the Joneses want you to do. And reality is, when you're keeping up the Joneses, guess what? You're in debt, right? You're in debt. You are a slave to the bank. You are a slave to the work, going to your job every day. You are a slave, right? So how do we get stop becoming a slave? And this is the great question that we all, must ask ourselves in a very big way. If we're looking at, and what we are talking about, that the biggest lie is that it's normal to have debt. It's normal to have debt. And the reality is, it's not normal to have debt. It's not normal. Because if it was normal, you wouldn't be struggling, you wouldn't be stressed out, you wouldn't be all this other stuff. You're just trying to make ends meet. And it is true that in our own country, in the United States, it has become hard to live on the kind of paycheck that you get, the kind of money that you make. It becomes hard. To buy a house, it's hard. Why? Because we have lost our ability to understand the concept of how to make money work for us instead of us working for money. See, that is the big lie. That is a very big lie, because what do banks do? They take your money and they put it out there and invest it in other things, and they make big returns back. So if that is what they're doing with your money, well, how come you're not doing that with your money? If all you're doing is putting your money in a bank, all you're doing is saving it, then what are you doing? You're not really getting a big return, because where the bank's paying you 0.25 0.01%, whatever it is that they give you on an APY. I mean, how's that going to grow your money over time? You think, okay, I'm going to put this in a savings, I'm going to keep it there, and boom, it's going to really help me out in the future. And I would say partly true, partly not true, right? Because in order to get a big return, you need to have something that's going to pay you much greater percentage out there. And you know I think one of my biggest mistakes, one of my biggest regrets, and when it comes to debt, is putting myself in debt for a student loan. It's going and getting a quote unquote education that I thought was gonna be something that I really wanted to do. But then when I got through it. I was getting done with it. It wasn't what I wanted at all. And I regret ever going to college and putting myself into debt and putting myself into debt for a system that teaches you it's okay to go into debt. You know, and the problem with colleges and stuff like that, universities, they normalize this debt. They normalize the idea of going into debt for education. They have raised the cost of education so much that sometimes there's no way that you can get out of college without going into debt with a student loan. So for me, it was the biggest mistake of my life. People say, "Oh, you're investing in your future. You're investing in this," but how is it investing in my future and in my well-being if it's causing me to go into debt for life, right? If it's causing me to go debt for 10, 15, 20 years, just to get out of this particular debt that we are all in. And so you have to come up with an idea, like a conclusion of what it is that you're going to do to get yourself out of debt. Because if the biggest lie that we have ever been told that it's normal to go into debt, then we know that we have been taught that it's normal to have a mortgage on a home, that it's normal to have a loan on our car that we just bought. It's normal to have credit card debt. It's normal to get personal loans from banks. It's normal to go to debt for the things that we want. See, these are the big lies that you have been told, and they do a great job. So whenever you are in debt, what's going to happen? All that money that you are making is going where? Toward the creditors. It's going toward the creditors and making them bank, making them big money on the things that they are already uh, utilizing and making even more money off of you. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give you a $500 loan. I'm gonna get 20% APY back. So if you don't pay it back by the end of the month, guess what? We start, instituting that 20% APY on you, and boom, I'm making pretty good money off of you, right? So that is the idea and the concept that we have all been accustomed to. So you need to come up with a couple of ways to get yourself out of debt. The average American, when it comes to say like the national debt, the average American is indebted at least $92 to $93,000 per household. So think about this: if the average debt per person is going to be around $90,000, how are you going to get out of debt with $90,000? And really, the only answer to that particular question is really to make more money, to make enough money to get out there and then pay off that debt. But the reality is, it's not about just going out and making more money. It's also cutting your expenses back, cutting your spending back, and then it's utilizing what we talked about before. Uh, last week talking about the 5 jars. It's taking that money and first giving a tithe, giving offering, putting away for investment, putting away for savings, and then the other 80% is there for the spending for and to take care of all the bills. So when we learn how to do all of these things, then we begin to build a a more of a wealth machine, right? Because now we're taking the investment money that we get and we're investing in things that are multiplying. We are putting it away into things that matter, right? The same thing with like savings. If there's an emergency that happens, or we're saving up for a house or for a car, that savings will be there. With if we are, an offering, for the growth of the kingdom of God, we're giving the offering for that very particular purpose, and for tithe, giving it to God, to help grow His kingdom, through the church. So these are things that that we put into place in order to get ourselves out of debt. Because we were in debt, we are a slave to that debt. We are working for money in order to pay off that debt. We are not in debt, then we are no longer a slave, but we have broken free from that, and we are free to do the things that we need. But what happens when a lot of times we get out of debt, and this is happened to me too. When you get out of debt, the spirit of mammon becomes so strong in you, right? It becomes the mammon, the spirit of mammon begins to tempt you and tempt you and tempt you to go back into debt, to go after money, to take that money and be like, I need to work for money. I need to work for more money. I need to work for more money. And reality is, we need to be trusting in God's provision that He'll provide for us. And see, this is the purpose of giving a tithe, giving an offering, you're giving the money away, is that you are trusting in God to take care of you. You're putting your trust in God, and because you're putting your trust in God, God will begin to prosper you even more in order to achieve and help you achieve your purpose in life. Okay, so let's all try to get out of this big lie that we have been told that debt is normal, because it's not normal. It's not normal because it's taking you away from the kingdom of God. It's taking you away from the important things, your purpose in life. So if it's so you need to you need to come up with a plan to get yourself out of debt and not to go back into it ever again. And it's easier than said than done, but it can be done with the right motive, with the right vision, and with the right type of plan that will get you out of that debt. Okay, so if you like the content, please like, share. Also, make a comment in the comment section, as well as you can visit my page. You can support me there by going to prosperwithchad.com. That's prosperwithchad.com. And I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I know that you are going to have an awesome rest of your weekend. And also, if you go to prosperwithchad.com, there's at the very top some ways that I am actually making money, and I'm actually uh, utilizing to help me get out of debt as well. So if you go to the site and check out the first two links, I really believe that it will show you uh, a a way for you to make more money and to get yourself out of debt. All right, you have an awesome rest of your day and weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye bye.